Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where I'm always excited to introduce the best player from the United States of America. In the top left, it's the Battle Mage, Astrea. But a tall order for literally everyone in the world right now. But Astrea, I think, especially. We have in the bottom right, in the red, the #1 Terran. It is Clem, the kid from Team Liquid from France. Once again here to claim the North American Cup. But for the first time in embarrassingly long, we have, finally, an NA player in the NA Cup Grand Finals. So I've got some high hopes for Astrea. Whether you want the American player to at least put on a good showing or for Clem to crush him, hopefully you want to always see great games for the fans, which means you should like and subscribe. And Jimmy! Yep. 1,237 likes on this video, on this cast, on this finals. And I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. I was excited to see Clem playing someone who wasn't Dark Hero or Max Packs in a relatively high-profile match, which is something that, well, I mean, only the best make it to the end of even these smaller weekly tournaments. And unlike Cyril, unlike, to an extent, Raynor, Clem plays in all of them. Whenever he's awake, and sometimes when he's only half so. But he plays in both the European and North American weekly cups most weeks. Astrea, usually NA in Korea. I'm not sure if he's currently in Korea. He's been competing in GSL over the last few seasons, but it is kind of the off-season for GSL, so I'd imagine he's back home at least for now. But we'll see at the end of the day how he stacks up against the winner of DreamHack Atlanta. Widowmine drop. Oh, he's spread out. He knows the timing of the Widowmine drop. A single Widowmine, by the way. Still an existential threat to the Protoss. Astrea spotted the medevac. Hasn't pulled back. Clem may have been on the high ground, and that means Astrea wouldn't have necessarily seen the medevac. And the medevac, being an air unit, has a little bit more vision than ground. So if you react at a perfect timing, well, a couple stalkers at the back. Now, he doesn't know how many mines, if any, are in that medevac, but the threat of them, of course, will drag him back. Robobay on the way, but Astrea's already taken a third net. Wow, that is incredibly fast. It's already done. It isn't building. It's completed. As he went for a sentry, no Twilight Council, straight into Robo. So a bare bones, but a strong bone defense. Yeah, we'll go with that. As instead of trying to finesse his way with Blink Stalkers, he's going to get as many Robo units as possible, including, Widowmine drop, and Clem tries to target it. A little bit of Prairie Dog Micro. The Stalkers will attempt to engage. Clem puts together a bunker rush. Well, not really a bunker rush, but Immortal shows up. Gonna be able to blast through the tank. It loses a couple Stalkers for it. Looks like the Liberator at the natural got 5 kills. The Widowmine got 1 probe kill, but Astrea does have this base. A very Neeb-esque heavy macro style. And just tanking the tank damage. Just busted through right now. And Astrea, for now, holding the line, but the Liberator joins up. And the Marines, well, without the bunker, and with the medevac in a vulnerable state, Clem is going to be forced back. Astrea chose his units and his tech well to deal with Clem's early tank pressure here. But I don't think he can go much further. It is a bit risky to come down into the double siege. Literally caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to chase down the Observer there. Siege tank wards away the Stalkers and the Immortal. But Astrea holds, and he hasn't been stingy. This is a very different style of Protoss than we've seen players like Hero or Parting even doing lately, which is that minimal probe count, high aggression, very technical Blink Stalker Warp Prism style. This is the American macro toss, which is not, like, there haven't been enough Protoss players from America that it becomes a significant trend, but there's more than one, Neeb and then Astrea. So that is interesting in and of itself. 66 probes and counting. Liberator into the main. Astrea relying on just the sheer amount of income as opposed to getting enough technical units early. Is he? Alright, the Liberator has kind of locked down this location. Does he have any vision of Clem's army about to show up at the front door? But Clem actually doesn't have his triple threat done quite yet. That scan may give away some of the info here, and I think Astrea has moved into position to deal with it. Another Stalker going to be warped in. The Liberator pushed away. Now Clem has Stim +1 in combat shield. But before he did not, so he couldn't take advantage of that position. Now there's 2 Colossi. Extended Thermal Lance halfway done. Clem, though, army supply 68 to 40. So a hefty army supply advantage here for the Frenchman. And he's got a Raven, he's got the tanks, and he's gonna set up looking for that third base. Astrea, very important Warp Prism headed across. Charge is about to complete. A lot of Widow Mines in the mix here, but they cut both ways. Does he have an armory? He does not. So, just one shot. And I think Astrea does have observers alongside it. 68 probes is the total. Clem now just catching up. But Astrea has managed to keep a something of an income lead. A spotter depot is coming up. Probably better than seeing it when it's in your third base here. But, oh, the Warp Prism, I think, slipped by just a split second before. Yeah, Clem not reacting. Doesn't have a Viking. No turret. Astrea building 6 pylons, a bit supply block, but there's nothing back at home to defend. Just whatever's going to come out of the barracks here. And some charge lots into the third. Clem is bringing one of his armies back. Already lost 6 SCVs. Another huge warp in here. And the Zealots are charging forth. And there's just not enough to deal with this. Clem scrambling back with the army to the north. The army to the south is trying to reinforce the base, but SCVs are flying towards the sky. Astrea gets out with 4 of the charge lots. He's killed 19 SCVs, carving a significant economic advantage. And not critical damage against Clem, but not only did he kill those 20 SCVs, but he dragged most of the army back. Astrea just triggered a Widow Mine with a hallucinated Phoenix, which obviously the Widow Mine can't tell the difference until it's already fired, but not sure if it was intentional or just looking for scouting, but it accomplished it either way. Ghost for Clem, who maintains he didn't really lose much army there. In fact, he lost barely any, I think, overall. Maybe a few charge lots or a few Marines, a couple Marauders, but nothing too critical. But what Astrea bought himself was time. And time is money, friend. And money is what you need to get minerals and get. You get where I'm going. It was pretend it was clever. Moving on. The upgrades will complete. There's an Archon drop as well. Oh no! That's a very hero strategy, but he flies right through the shield batteries. Widow Mines, volley across the bow. Not too terrible. Archon's in the back. That's an interesting choice. He doesn't have Storm. Cancels the 4th base. Clem starting to strike back here. He's whittled down Astrea down to 3 bases. He's got a 4th command center on the way. But Clem does not have his 2-2 started. He doesn't have the armory done. He's building the Ghost Viking. But Astrea will have a 2-2 advantage. Obviously, Widow Mine's painful, but that means his army will be able to take a straight-up fight, or at least a relatively even one, against that very efficient army composition. He's dropping the Archons out. I doubt Clem expected that. He was building turrets. Was there a Viking? Yes, but it wasn't patrolling the right spot. And that means another warping comes in, and Clem is forced back. Astrea will move into position at the front. And he's in place. EMPs not landing in time. Takes out one of the tanks. EMPs across the Stalkers. But the Colossi have already stepped up to the plate and are ready to knock Clem out of the park. Still, though, massive drop at the back. The gateways are going to act as a wall for the bio against the Zealots. The Colossi looking for a target. Actually recalls out. Going to lose 1 Colossus. Make that 2. And Astrea on the doorstep of victory. Feels like he kind of got it slammed shut in his face and has at least a bloody nose. He's down 40 supply. The rest of the army caught in the center of the map. What went wrong? He didn't press the issue with the Colossi. The Warp Prism got cleaned up. Clem landed the drop in the back, and Astrea, I think, panicked. He saw 20 plus supply of bio in his base. And it's still there, by the way. And things kind of coming apart here for the American Protoss. Can he land a disruptor hit? A disruptor in a dream, that's what he's got. He fires the shot. And the disruptor is targeted down. The Colossi brought low. Shield battery overcharge will keep the bio army intact. Or the gateway army intact, rather. And those upgrades are the only thing really allowing these units to remain competitive. The one thing Clem doesn't have are those upgrades. So Astrea making some use of it here. He will survive. But he lost so many important units. He lost 4 Colossi. He's lost 3 Archons, a Disruptor. How many Robos? 2, which is better than none. But he's gotten the 4th base to the south side, 66 to 65. Well, now 66 workers. But with mules, I'm going to be able to solidify his position. Once again, the upgrades, really the deciding factor. The thing keeping Astrea in this game. But he hasn't started +3, which means Clem will eventually draw even, and then Astrea is going to have to rely more on the Disruptors, an inherently unreliable unit. But the Widowmine's Disruptor shot curves it right back in, gets the guaranteed damage in those Widowmines. Just gonna chip his way through. The Disruptors will eventually chew through them. A bit costly to do so if he expends all his Purification Nova as well. Clem will definitely notice and potentially pounce on the opportunity, but Astrea has held it together. And for now, well, Medevac way is cleared by the mine. Zealot clears the mine. Medevac drops in. Widow mines in place. Has to bring the observers back. Sacrifices some of the Zealots. EMP around the corner here. +2 still closing in. The Vikings bruised. Only 3 of them, but only 1 Colossus. That Colossus forcing the Vikings to respect it here. The Widow Mines will, I think, be dealt with. There's going to be detection barely in time. And Astrea has successfully at least survived the counter onslaught that Clem was bringing to the table after that initial aggression. Astrea has managed to patch together a defense. And I think he has enough units that Clem now... Oh my god. No. Well, what? We only caught the explosive end of that. These are the kind of things that aren't supposed to happen to Clem. But occasionally... Well... And the Disruptor comes in. Clem looking the other way, and 20 supply is purified simultaneously. And just like that, Astrea takes a 30 supply lead in the army. Well, that's kind of a big hit and a huge deal when it comes down to map control here. Clem goes from an army that can potentially pressure the 4th base to one that he has to be very careful about. As another hit like that, and there's not going to be much army left at all. Here comes Charge Lot Archon, looking like almost like a co-op army over here. The Ghosts, EMP is thrown out, but the Archon's pretty thick. And that's a technical term, as they're able to spread out the potential EMPs. Kills 10 SCVs. Clem scrambling back here, looking to defend. Some of the Ghosts potentially getting caught. More EMPs across the Archons. But Disruptor clips a couple Marauders. Blink Stalkers looking to move into position. And at the back, the Blink Stalker ball is still enough to zone out for the Ruptors. Fires off a volley. Doesn't get a great connection. Another shot. Clips a Ghost. Clips a Marauder. Gets another chunk to the north side. Clem's army starting to thin out. And just the Ghost. Clem taps it out. It did look like it was trending that direction. And Astrea manages to chunk his way through. The Disruptor count just too much. Clem's army too disjointed and unable to close the distance. Astrea takes game number 1. Putting him off to an unexpected but definitely well appreciated 1-0 lead. And it wasn't an early cheese. It wasn't some sort of timing that went wrong or very right for either player, but instead Clem tried to play the longer game, and Astrea held him off it. It started, I really liked that Immortal Sentry early defense. And oh my god. He's gonna need an earlier defense here, I think. As Clem has just decided, I think this is gonna be Marauders. The Marauder proxy is certainly an original flavor for Terran versus Protoss. Reaper's not as good for proxying, but the Marauders with concussive shell. I don't know for sure it is it, but he only has one gas here. So it looks like it'll be a bunker rush into... Oh my god, is Astrea... Is this... Well, if Astrea does a proxy Stargate, or something along those lines, like, so Clem is banking on Astrea expanding and only having maybe a Zealot or something to defend. But here come the SCVs. There's already a Zealot out, so this makes things significantly more complicated. The SCV... Yeah, there's a Stargate. Well... Here comes the Adept. Well, he recalls a Zealot. Okay, crazy play. Recalls just for more meat to shield. He will lose one. The Probe's also quite involved. The Adept shaded out, which is a bit of a mistake there. He loses the Adept. But the Probes are the battle Probes here, helping out a lot against those early Marines. And I think Clem has to be one, or he's got a factory dome. He can build a Cyclone. But one Cyclone isn't a perfect counter to a Void Ray. Two Cyclones definitely would be, but a Void Ray can track... Oh my god, he's doing a shield battery cheese. Oh my. Well... Is there any vision down there? The Cyclone could easily kill that probe. Wow, Void Rays take forever. Adept, still keeping track of the Marines. He's got to know there's a factory on the other side or something along those lines. The Cyclone coming out. The Void Ray coming in. You can't explain that. Oh god, it's going to get weird. Void Ray. Battery's halfway done. Astrea with the counter proxy here. He was already planning it. Both sides were planning on this before they knew what the other was doing. But the Void Ray is exactly the same speed. This is the one scenario in which the Cyclone is actually much worse at early defense, is against the early Void Rays. Because the Cyclone is the same speed and the Void Ray also kind of locks on to its target. So the Cyclone getting a energy-based taste of its own particular medicine. And losing that first Cyclone, I think, could spiral out of control. The Marines have to come back. And now the Cyclone lock on. Only one shield better. He's just gonna try to... Oh, burns through the Cyclone, but he took down the depot, and now the Protoss army is inside the house. He's gonna get the second depot. And Clem is not quite supply blocked, but will be momentarily. Builds another one. He's just going straight for it. A Viking is about to pop out. Very important to keep that alive. Gonna try to micro away. Manages to do so just barely, looking for another shot, but the shield battery. Viking at the back, barely outranging the Void Race. Shield batteries looking for whatever scraps of energy they can get. Targets down the Viking. And that's it. Call it right there. Clem taps it out. He has nothing left. And just like that, the American Protoss is up 2-0. Clem, kind of a half-hearted cheat. Well, I think it would have looked a lot better if Astrea had gone for a one-gate expand, but at the end of the day, sometimes you gamble, and sometimes you lose. It's directly related to the gambling. That's the implication. I said it too dramatically, and it didn't make any sense, but now, it just did not stack up well for him. If Astrea was going for the one... Oh, no. This time, only a single Rex. But Clem. Well, we'll see. Astrea's looking, but is he looking not right down there, looking at the back of his natural maybe, but which is where some more ambitious Terran players have proxied in the past, but not quite that dramatic. Probe. Ooh, this time around, he sneaks the SCV in, but the probe finds it. What's that SCV doing there? The probe does... Oh, he puts down the Reaper blocking pylon. I'm like 88... It always looks weird, but I'm like 88%, 90%, 94% sure that blocks the Reaper, and he has to go around. But the bunker will be built either way. Oh my god. Yeah, the Reaper has to go around. Oh no. Yeah, the bunker's gonna finish, and it will block this out. Stalker being chrono boosted. Reaper already racks up a probe kill. Almost slips into the citizen's arrest there. But, oh, gets a second probe. Nope, too much damage from the probes. He gets away. Grenade. Gonna deny mining for a split second longer. Probe is in the base. Sees everything going on. He builds a shield battery near the corner here, out of range of the bunker, but in range to be able to hit the bunker while still being re-shielded. Astrea, well prepared for this particular. This is not an uncommon strategy. It's been a while since we've seen it, but honestly, I think the early Engi Bay blocks have become more common than this particular build. Marine walking in, that's a bit ambitious. Tries to grenade through. The probes get it. The bloodthirsty probes. But now there are two Stalkers. Another Reaper trying to damage. It's not going to be enough. He's going to be able to clean this up. The question will be if the follow-up is good enough from Clem. Gets out. He may be able to get the salvage off, get a few minerals back, minus the 25 mineral restocking fee. And bounces the probe. Twilight Council. Wait, did he see it? No, he slapped it down after killing the Reaper. So now Clem again in a bit of an awkward scenario. I don't think it's a particularly bad one. Last game, his build did not stack up well against Astrea's. The more advanced proxy won out, but this time around, Clem does have his factory done. He's got multiple racks. He can land one. He's going to have 3 racks in total here, and not like Astrea has a massive economic lead. A single Widow Mine could easily turn that particular tide. But we'll see. Astrea. Oh, Jimmy! Don't just give Clem 2 points. Thank you! Sorry. I have some difficulties here every day. Like and subscribe so we can afford better help. Well, the probe spotted exactly this. Stalker. Another Stalker. I'm great at commentating. The probes. Oh my god, oh my god. And, ooh, nice. Pulled it back at the last second there. I think baiting Clem into actually triggering it instead of any more fanciness. Gives a sacrifice. Oh, that's not a super pylon. Realizes gonna build a different pylon nearby. Gonna be blank this time around, but also a Templar archives immediately. Is this explicitly for a feedback on the Raven? I mean, not explicitly. He likely will go for Storm as well. A Storm rush against a relatively bare-bones Terran army that's entirely reliant on the efficiency of stim in those early bio units could certainly be a great option. But even honestly, just a Templar for feedback to shut down a Raven. Charge. Charge lot Archon. Charge lot Archon Blinkstalker. No, we're not doing this. I don't. But indeed. Oh, the Spylon, see it? That Spylon placement is so good. He starts Storm. No Templar yet. The Raven looking for an opportunity. Spots the base. Observer gonna get in. See, that storm is indeed a great call here. Scan. Oh my god, he used the medevac with the Cyclone in order to hunt down the Observer. Doesn't need a Raven to know exactly where it is. Ooh, Astrea loses one. It could be worse. 2 probes. Not too bad. Another auto turret. There are some stalkers. He targets down probes. Ooh. Gets 2 more. Not bad. Heading out with a mine drop. Astrea doesn't have particularly many probes here. How many Templar? 3 Templar so far. A pylon powering a whole lot of stuff there, indeed. Interesting.
Who does that?
All the upgrades coming online. Clem's gonna have his +1 stim combat shield. God, these Spylons are so perfect. It seems like they're coming online like 5 seconds before they need to spot something, which is, you know, about as efficient as you can get. But here comes the Widow Mine Drop. Comes in. Templar may be spotted by the... Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that could have been worse. Only loses 3. It's dealt with for now. Flies right past on the way out. But Astrea in position to deflect here. Clem, 3rd command center on the way. He's got all the fixins, but one thing he doesn't have is ghosts. An observer out on the field. 2 Templar and 2 Zealots in a prism. Ooh. Looks like he wants to go for the SCVs here. But the army will be spotted on the way out. He's going to hold the watchtower. Clem will be fighting against the storm, but little does he know. A blink and charge is done. Did he spot the Templar? There's a great storm to start things off. He must not have known. More Templar. The Warp Prism will continue forward. And Astrea doing a great job zoning out in the middle of the map here. But the Templar in towards the main. Beautiful, devastating storms. And the Warp Prism will warp in. Clem just caught at the center of the map. He has nowhere to go. The storms will land. Astrea. He actually misses the storm there. The Templar died, but now some good ones. Losing so many SCVs back at home. Wades through another storm. He kills the Templar. He doesn't come home because there's pretty much no home to come back to. He recalls the prism with the Templar inside, and Clem just taps it out. Clem clearly a bit frustrated with this scenario, not able to get anything done back at home. He lost all his reinforcements. He did not kill the prism. The Viking trying to help. Oh, that's why he recalled it. But the Viking not killing the prism, the Zealots got down to the natural. He's not breaking into that location, not with units that are half HP. Astrea takes it 3-0. Well, Clem making some... At this point, Clem making any mistakes is uncharacteristic. But at the end of the day, clearly playing the series he needed to. He's landing the hits. He kept it together. I really liked how he varied up the build. And there was none of the just standard Blink Stalker. But that brings us into our bonus game, by the way. Our anti-spoiler bonus. Astrea, in order to get here, a bit of spoilers on this, but he faced Hero, which I'm not exactly sure how that went in PvP. Is a bit of a disaster piece of a matchup. But in order to make sure that you got this far into the video and thought Clem was surely going to pull one back, here we are. Astrea versus Hero. Just one highlight game, but, well, we'll see how long it is. I don't actually... I'm just assuming, based on PvP, this is not a 50-minute game, but if it is, I've made a huge mistake. Or Jimmy's made a huge mistake. Again. So that's why we're watching the probe. That's totally where you put one of your first pylons. But we'll take a moment before we try to figure out where all the pylons are going to go, which is always quite an experience in PvP. Clem just did his standard fare. It wasn't perfect. He let warp prisms in. He ate disruptor shots like an actual mortal human being. But Astrea, the tenacity in this macro Protoss style. Astrea's always been, and by always I mean for the last couple of years, has been that Protoss who does everything right. His plan is correct. He plays the way Protoss is meant to be played, and he does it. The problem is, everyone has a plan until they get punched by the Stim Marines. And that feels like the main reason, or the main struggle Astrea has had, is he has the perfect army. But it's like trying to play all the instruments in a symphony simultaneously. Very difficult to pull off. But this time around, it's come together. And Astrea wins 3-0 against Clem. But first, back to the future. Hero has a pylon proxy. Now there's a shield battery on the high ground. You let that finish. There's a Stargate, but the Stalkers are just walking up. Yes, well, of course, PvP. The thinking man's Protoss. He gets the pylon block at the last second. Did he just try to go through? No, he's not. The Stargate hasn't been spotted. Astrea also has a proxy pylon. He does go for the Nexus here. Another Shade. Slaps down a shield battery. That's a Twilight Council. Obviously. Oh, but an Oracle! Into the main base. Slips in. Astrea. Stalker's not quite in position. Hero's struggling to actually get too many kills. And by that I mean he killed 6. He killed 6 probes. That's a lot of probes. Astrea down to 19 probes. The Adepts complete the Shade and then recall out. The Oracle's still back there in timeout because the Stalkers are so upset. Hero is going for his natural now with a 4-probe lead. And Astrea's isn't so much quicker that it's going to be some sort of decisive economic advantage. So, well, probe taken down. Sentries. Okay, now what? Astrea's getting Blink. He has 2 gates. Stargate's still out there. The Stargate only built 1 Oracle. That was the extent of it. Robo on the way for Hero. Immortals, a direct counter to the Stalkers, but the Stalkers, with Blink, likely not going to be fighting very directly. There's still the proxy pylon, which is not even necessarily closer to the base than warping in at home. Maybe a little bit. Immortal in production. Shield battery at the natural. Stalker's looking around. The Oracle can use a stasis or potentially just burn through the shield battery. But, yeah, now that they're out on the map, Immortal nearly done. That's going to be critical in any sort of early defense. Stasis. And minimal damage. Good pullback from Astrea. Adept counter set up, ready to go. A whole lot of Stalkers are done, though. 12 of them. Poor Astrea is warping in off the proxy pylon. Nothing to block the Adepts from getting into the main, though. Oh, he's forced to recall. Hero a little bit off on that timing. But a stasis. Whoa, whoa, whoa! He might get the Oracle. Stop right there. But actually, a lot of probes in stasis and a couple probes, I think, trapped there out of solidarity. So Astrea now has 14 Stalkers to 2 Immortals and 7 Stalkers. He's down 10 probes. So this is certainly not an ideal scenario. The Immortals heading across the map. No charge on the way for Astrea. He's pretty committed to this Blink Stalker strategy. As right now, he doesn't really have any ability to transition out of it. Yeah, there's the charge, which is a bit of a prayer at this point. Once there are 3 Immortals on the field, those one-shot Stalkers. So the amount of damage output is just too damn high. You can maybe work against 1 or 2, but... oh, triggers the barrier. Oh, was I wrong about that? Maybe it isn't quite. I don't know exactly. The damage, it's a lot of damage, either way. Thought it was 3 to 1-shot a Stalker, but... eats a hit, trying to trigger the barriers on the Immortals so he can maybe jump on them. But the Immortals hit faster and harder and better and stronger. So, clearly not working out. Astrea forced to blink away immediately. Hero now getting his own blink. Charge is in production. Astrea actually expanding quicker despite being down 8 probes. Which is a very Astrea move. If he's able to get that online, well, that'll certainly be helpful as time goes on. Assuming this game continues, as Hero really looking to lay it down here. The Stalker count pretty similar. The Immortal's wandering a little further behind. Gets, a typical force field. Hero chasing, but getting a few units shaved off. Hallucinated Phoenix. It looks like Astrea thinking about a base trade, which may be the best case scenario. Recall? Is there energy for... Okay, there's energy at the main for recall, but here comes Astrea. He gets an Immortal, starting to do a lot of damage to the probes. Astrea retreating to the main... Well, here we go! Typical PvP number 504. Force field does not force field the ramp. Guardian shield may be the most important part of all this. Gonna depower the production. We'll see if he recalls. Charge lot's gonna be helpful. Recalls? Does Hero recall? That's the question. It's already too late. And Astrea with the probes off the line. The Blink Stalkers chase down the Prism. He won't be able to juggle it back. Warping in some more Zealots. Hero losing his Immortals. There's still a few Stalkers that were going to work on the probes. There's a bunch of probes out on the map. But Astrea, with the last-ditch attempt in the desperation base trade, has turned it around. He's still down 17 workers. And his army... Well, his army... No, wait. Whoa. 12 Stalkers to 5. He has a way larger army. He didn't kill the shield battery at the natural. Hero needs that Immortal. He lost all this production. His gateways were depowered. Now, with a couple more Stalkers warped in, a Dark Shrine is on the way, but the charge lots, he's just going to go straight for the battery. He gets it. The Immortal shows up. And I'm sure Astrea is going to try to put it down as quick as possible. He can't. I don't think that's in range to overcharge that shield battery. Going to warp in a couple Zealots. Force field to zone out the Immortal on the ramp. And the Stalkers may be able to pick a better fight at the natural. Another force field. He recalls the Immortal down. I don't know if that's a great idea. Oh, from the frying pan directly into the fire. Oh, no, Hero. I don't know if it would have made the difference if he was able to do that differently, but Astrea with some very decisive Protoss versus Protoss and a dramatic game. Glad we took a look at that one. But Astrea on fire today, beating Hero and Clem. I mean, probably his best results in, well, of 2024 at the very least. I'm looking forward to more. I hope you are as well. I hope I made your day just a little bit better. And if you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon. By here, liking and subscribing is still free for now. And checking out recommended autoplay, been very helpful. YouTube has complimented me on how many people choose from recommended, so keep it up if this helped, and if not, well, hopefully it doesn't hurt. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.